Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Meet the Candidate Forum 2026. My name is Sheena McGill. I am Sunny Meat Ranch's General Manager. I'm your host for today's event. It will be my job to provide you with important election details and to act as timekeeper. Well, I'm not. Jackie will be a timekeeper for our moderator, and candidates. After questions, I will provide some important dates for the upcoming election. This event will allow homeowners an opportunity to meet the candidates running to fill the 5 open seats on the board. The questions being asked today were submitted, some were submitted directly to myself in the office, and candidates have not seen those questions, okay? Each candidate will be asked the various questions and be offered an opportunity to answer those questions. With respect of their time, please hold your applause so they have finished answering those questions. Candidates will be given 2 minutes to introduce themselves and an additional 2 minutes at the end of the forum. Candidates' responses to the questions will be limited to 1 minute per question. As I stated, Jackie from the office, assistant manager, she will be doing our timekeeping. Joshua is paying attention to online. If there's any questions that may come in, they will also let me know. Once you hear the beep, that means your time is done. All right. Guys ready? All right. Let's start with Mr. Robert Reddick. One of the questions that I have here is, what is your primary motivation for running for this election?
I thought about whether I was going to run for the board again, because this is a position I've been in the past, and I had a lot of outside influences that told me, no, don't do it. You don't want to subject yourself to what may come your way as being a board member. I actually set all that aside, and in all seriousness, this community is too important to me to not take advantage of an opportunity that presents itself by running for the board. And I truly feel that this association has so much potential for becoming a great community to call home that there really was nothing that was going to persuade me not to run. My motivation is that I'm a volunteer. Volunteerism runs in my family. This is what we've done. I've been retired for almost 20 years now. And all of my 20 years of retirement have been spent in retirement because that's exactly what I appreciate doing. Some people criticize me for it. Some people think there's other things going on. Some people think I have a hidden agenda. But I've lived here 32 years, and this is what I call home. And I'm just motivated to make sure that my quality of life is the same as everyone else's quality of life. And that's why I ran for the board. So.
This light, I need to turn it my way. I want to go back a little bit because actually I forgot to let you do your opening statement, but you kind of a little bit you did that with that question. But if you would like to elaborate, I can definitely allow the 2 minutes for you to give a.
Do you guys want to do an opening statement? Or just jump into the questions?
Just get into the question?
Just get into it.
All right, let's do it.
Because we'll do the closing statement. How's that?
You guys want to hear it?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to swing it back to you. I'll give you 2 minutes. Robert. Yeah.
Opening statement about myself?
Yeah.
Okay. How much time do I have now?
2 minutes. It'll be.
3. Oh, God.
No, 2. you have a nice voice, so let's do it.
No. Actually, I'll be rather quick. Most of the people in this room here know me already, and I think I'm speaking to the folks who might be on Zoom right now who may not know who I am. I'm a longtime homeowner and resident here. I purchased my home in 1992. I've lived here during that time. I've devoted most of my time since I've been here to this association. Once I retired in 2006. My background is I come from the insurance industry as information technology executive. My last job, I worked 26 years there. I enjoyed it. Didn't really want to retire, but I had an experience where I went abroad for a long held off vacation, stayed out of the country for 2 weeks, enjoyed myself, came back and sat in traffic for 5 hours going to work and 5 hours coming back home. And I figured, wait a minute, what am I doing? What am I doing this for? I looked and talked to my financial planner. He said, you can go. You're good. Go on in whenever you're ready. The next day I went into my boss's office and said, I'm done. My backup, I had groomed him for 3 years. He was ready to step in, talk to him. He said, he's ready. And I was gone. 6 months later, I was on his board. 6 months later, I was on his board. And that's where I've been since then. My background experience is computers. I'm well aware and have worn many hats in the IT industry over almost a 40-year career. And I bring all of that expertise, plus my people skills, plus my communication skills, and reasonable intelligence to the table. And that's who I am. For those who may not know who I am. So I'm also a veteran and served during the Vietnam era, had some good times, had some bad times, and I fully support every single veteran that I see, every single one. So that's who I am.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. I do want to remind everyone, if you guys can please silence your phone if you haven't done so already. Cool. No questions on there? All right, Renee, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, hi. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. Speak up. Okay. I know I was kind of talking slowly. So my name is Renee Osborne. Most of you know me. I'm the current president of the board. I was elected initially in 2019, and in 2021, I was elected by my peers, the other directors, as president, and have held the role of president since 2021. And as president, you'll find, directors, that each role on the board has specific duties. President, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and then director at large. The role of president comes with it being the spokesperson for the association, guiding the meetings, helping drive our long-term and short-term goals so that they come to fruition. I was told one time that HOA management is kind of like steering the Queen Mary. You can turn it, but it takes a long time to get there. And since we can only make business decisions once a month in open session, if something isn't decided, you kick it down the road. Another month goes by, perhaps another month. And so it's very, very time consuming, and you need somebody to help in addition to a general manager, but all of the directors helping with that. So I've served as secretary, treasurer, and president. I think I'm a pretty good facilitator, fairly good consensus builder, bringing people together to make a decision. Rarely do we all agree, and that's fine, but we do expand our knowledge of the association by listening to one another. That's my time. Oh, okay.
That's your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Mrs. Lambert, on to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hazel Lambert. I've been living here in the community for probably about, I want to say, close to 30 years. I've been a homeowner here. I've served on multiple boards in various capacities, anything from secretary to treasurer to the president, chaired a lot of ad hoc committees. I've been active here in Sunnymead Ranch. I was part of the activities committee where we came up with a lot of different activities for the homeowners that were definitely diverse. I served on the bylaws ad hoc committee at one point. My background basically is kind of human services. Currently, I do consulting work. I work for myself at this point. For many years, I worked for either county governments, from the city to San Bernardino to Riverside County. Most of it was in human services. But I've always worked as in the field of advocacy. I served as the director of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman. And for those of you who don't know what that is basically the person that goes in and investigate allegations of abuse in the long-term care and skilled nursing facilities. That's what I did. I was over the volunteer committee, not here, but in other capacities where I was successful in always having at least 25 volunteers. One of the things that I'm proud of is really just the work that I do as far as advocacy and making sure that people are looked after, taken care of, and their voices are heard. I guess that's it in a nutshell, so to speak.
Thank you so much for your time. On to you, Mr. Barnes.
Good evening. My name is Jade Barnes. I'm originally from Dover, Delaware. Spent about 12 years in Columbus, Ohio, and then the last 11 years on the West Coast on SoCal, mainly in Los Angeles. Last 3 years, we decided to buy a home here. I'm married. I have 2 dogs, a 3-year-old Rottweiler and a 6-month-old girl Rottweiler, who's a terror and shredding up everything in the house. By day, I'm a recruiter. I work for big tech and entertainment companies. Typically by night, we do real estate investing, community organizing, health awareness, coaching, development. I think I serve on 3 other boards for nonprofits around homelessness to health and wellness to education, the full gamut. I've been a servant leader for the last 30 years. I think I took office, I think my earliest position was 5th or 6th grade student council, and I've held leadership positions ever since then to this date. I believe in doing service and working for the people, being the voice of the people and the voice of reason and balance. I think that there's many opportunities for us to find common ground and not be so rigid. The reason why I put my name in the hat is that there were plenty of times where I try to leverage and live in this community, and it's been challenging. Whether there's rules, restrictions, timing, unnecessary expectations, and instead of complaining, I always believe if you're going to complain, you should come with a solution. So here we are. Here I am. I haven't served on all these boards, but I do know how to read and write, and I do know how to make sound judgments. So let's get in. Let's get after it.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so we're gonna jump in to the questions again. All right, so I'll start with you, Mrs. Lambert. Question here that I have is, what is one improvement or initiative you would like to see implemented during your term on the board?
Question again?
Yes, ma'am. What is one improvement or initiative you would like to see implemented during your term on the board?
As I said, I am, I'm really about human services. And I think one of the things that I would like to see, as I said, I used to serve on the activities committee, and I found that, we don't have as many activities as we used to. And I would like to really get that back going where people are more involved in coming out and making sure that, the homeowners know that they are appreciated and we want to give back, and also to really try to bring back more volunteers and put something in place where volunteers know that they are appreciated and that they enjoy doing the work that they do here. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I want to see. The other is really trying to build upon really what the other boards have done to try to look and see what's been happening, seeing how we can either improve on it or, make sure that everything is in the best interest of the homeowners. That's my time.
That's your time. Thank you so much for answering that question. Okay, Mr. Barnes, why should we vote for you?
Because there's only 5 candidates. I mean, I like going through the formalities. The reason to vote for me is if you care about building community and having opportunity here, you will have a staunch advocate in me. It's very, very simple. We live in a beautiful place, a scenic mountain backdrop, a beautiful lake. There's plenty of facilities and public spaces here for us to leverage. We all care and chose to live here for a reason. And let's just make this place fun and enjoyable for all.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Mrs. Osborne. I think you kind of answered this question I was going to read, so I'm going to skip that one for now. What does success looks like to you at the end of your term as HOA board member?
What does success look like? I'm I'm a project oriented person. I make lists. I drive to those lists, and I view success, and it's not personal success in the sense that as a director, I am 1 vote out of 5. The board, the majority of the board drives the improvements and the changes that this community sees. So the way I view success is that we as a whole move the community forward. I love to do the year-end reviews. We've been doing year-end reviews in the roundup since 2022. And it's very gratifying to say, some of those projects aren't very sexy. They're just mundane. Like we approved standards for payment plans last night. Nobody really cares. However, it's important to the association.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Mr. Reddick,
Yes, ma'am.
what is your ideas on getting greater participation in open forum? Because right now we only get maybe 10 to 12 homeowners here or on Zoom. So what would you do to get more participation?
Okay. I have a confession to make. I didn't bring my hearing aid tonight, and it's sitting on my bathroom shelf. So can you repeat that one more time? Just
Yes.
a little bit louder.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. No worries, ma'am. Thank you. That's a loud one. No worries. Okay. So, where was I? Okay. What is your ideas on getting greater participation in open forum?
Okay. So one of the things that we can do is really emphasize broadcasting what the subject matter is going to be at the open forum and let people know. And I think it takes more than just a single line sentence identifying what the topic's going to be that are going to be discussed. I also think that we need to find a better way to encourage people to look at the agenda before the meeting, either through e-blasts that go out reminding people that the meeting's coming up, and maybe highlighting some of the important items that are going to be on the agenda for discussion. I know a lot of people always ask when they get here, I didn't know these were going to be on there. And that tells me that either they weren't aware that it was posted on our website, or they just didn't realize that it was even out there available to them in any other way, shape, or form. And when they get here, they hear the items that are talked about, and invariably every single meeting, someone has a question pertaining to one of the agenda items that they would like to ask, but because of the way we're structured and because of the rules we have to follow, that can't happen. But if they knew about it ahead of time, then they could be better prepared and maybe engage themselves by coming for those particular items and issues that they're important for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mrs. Lambert, what role do you believe the HOA should play in enforcing rules versus showing flexibility and discretion?
Repeat the question.
Sure. What role do you believe the HOA should play in enforcing rules versus showing flexibility or discretion?
I thought that was a part of the job to be. I'm of the opinion that I assume that our role is to make sure that we are really kind of looking at the rules and enforcing them, but enforcing them in a way where we're being sympathetic, right? I don't think everything should be all black and white because there are different circumstances, and how do we have a meeting of the mind?
Thank you. Mr. Barnes, how would you elevate and oversee vendors, contractors, or management companies to ensure quality and physical responsibility?
Yeah, I think multiple bid approach is usually the best. Annually, I believe those things should be reviewed. and get some feedback in terms of their execution and their ability to show up. I like low costs, but also want people to do their job, and then putting them in place with contracts with strong KPIs and SLAs to drive what the expectation is how we'll hold people accountable and not waste money.
I'm gonna have you go back. Can you explain to some that don't know what KPIs are?
Key performance indicators and standard labor agreements in terms of what they say they're going to do. Did they do it on time, and did they do it appropriately? And people who don't do that don't get renewed. We pay every month. I think, what did the money go up? $2-3 over the last couple of years. People work hard for their money, and if it's increasing, they want to know that the vendors that we select are doing what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it, and what we want them to do.
Thank you.
Can we
Yeah.
just get a check? I see people leaning in. Are you guys able to hear us okay? Okay. Okay,
Okay.
because this is, want you guys to hear it. Check, mic check.
Testing.
I'll start here. Test, test. Better?
Check, check. You can hear me?
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jade, you want to try?
Check,
No.
testing.
There
Can
you
you hear me? We good?
Each mic.
Want the mic closer? Is that better? Got it.
Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay. Mrs. Osborne,
Yes.
what do you see as the top 1 or 2 challenges currently facing our community, and how would you prioritize addressing them?
How would I prioritize
Addressing them.
addressing them? Top challenges. I would say property conditions. I mean, I think we're going to end up in a drought again. Not that we've ever left it. We've worked really hard and trying to bring up the neighborhoods through a more consistent enforcement policy and fines. AB 130 took a kibosh to that. And as you guys know, we have a $100 maximum fine. If we weren't able to move people forward in encouraging them to comply and put grass or something on their lawn with a $250 fine and then a $500 fine, I know that a $100 fine is going to fall on deaf ears that pay the $100 and just let it sit there. Okay.
You done? Okay.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done at all, but I have my 1 minute.
Okay. Mr. Reddick, what is one improvement or initiative that you would like to see implemented during your term on the board?
What initiative?
Initiative, yes.
Mhm.
Or improvement.
Okay, I'll take initiative then. One of the things that I'm strong about is education, not only education for the board members, but education for the community. And one of the initiatives that I would really like to see implemented if I were when I get on the board again is one where we have a regularly scheduled sessions here in the clubhouse where it's easy access for the community to come down and have classes on how and why the board does make the decisions it makes, what the HOA's rules and regulations are, what we're governed by. A lot of folks don't realize that everything that an HOA does is governed by a set of laws that are implemented by the state of California. They're called Sterling Davis, and most of us have heard of that. But the Sterling Davis really embraces everything that there is to know about how to govern an association in California. Unfortunately, a lot of homeowners aren't really aware of all of the contents of that particular law, how it affects their homes, the things that they are allowed to do by law, the things that they're not allowed to do, and how we conduct the business of the board. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, it's 1 minute per question. Okay. Mrs. Lambert, why should we vote for you?
Why not? Well, just to reiterate, I am a lifelong advocate. I'm a lifelong been here for many years, and like I said, I've always been involved. I really have respect for our community, and it would be shown in the work that I do and to support the residents here.
Thank you so much. Mr. Barnes, what does success look like for you at the end of your term as HOA board member?
I don't know that there's a hard metric that will define success. I think that there is visible signs of community build, activities, engagement, trust, patience. I think one of the earlier questions alluded to how do we get more people to show up at the meetings and stuff like that. Well, it sounds pretty boring so far. So, like, make it interesting and engaging and what people want to talk about at the meetings. That's the start. I think if you build things that are enjoyable and pleasurable and less vigorous, then they'll show up and engage.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna come back to Mrs. Osborne. What is your ideas on getting greater participation in open forum?
That's the age-old question that the boards have been struggling with since I've been on. It seems like the only time we have great participation is when there's vitriol, and that's unfortunate. We are driven, as Mr. Riddick said, by civil code. Keep in mind, open forum is a business meeting of the board. So we have open forum where homeowners are encouraged to come and tell us their feelings or their complaints, their compliments. But fundamentally, this is our business meeting where we do the mundane business of the board, repairing fences, repairing sidewalks and things like that. I do agree with Mr. Riddick that perhaps if we do a better job of sending out the agenda, though it has always been available to every homeowner, knowing 4 days prior to the meeting, it's challenging. I don't know, pizza and beer.
I like that. It's on the website and it's also here in the bulletin boards as well. Yeah. Mr. Reddick, how would you evaluate and oversee vendors, contractors, management companies, and ensure quality and fiscal responsibility?
So how would I evaluate them?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's a process that that I would like to see continued, and that is that you vet the contractors before the board. If they are proposing submitting a bid on a project, that the board would have full awareness of exactly what their background, what their qualifications are, what their experience is, including all of the legal requirements like bonding, insurance, work performance bonds, anything that's going to make sure that the association is safeguarded in any way, shape, or form in case the vendor themselves make a mistake. And hopefully that doesn't happen very often, but in the event that it does, that we are at least aware ahead of time of what the ramifications are, what our protections are, and knowing that whoever we select to do the job has been completely vetted to the board's satisfaction. And always keeping in mind, by the way, that it's always for the benefit of the association.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mrs. Lambert, where am I at? What do you see as the top 1 or 2 challenges currently facing in our community, and how would you prioritize addressing them?
I think one of the top things that I'm seeing is the homeowners don't feel that their voices are being heard. I think we need to be more mindful of the homeowners and their concerns and respectful. I think things need to be put in place where when there is a problem, we need to, if not, bring them in to have a conversation, making sure that they understand that, we do care, that we do hear their voices and try to find some type of way to resolve their issue. Maybe it may not always be to their satisfaction, but, at least we want to hear from what they think is the solution and how do we work to make it fit within, the rules and the regulations.
Thank you so much. Mr. Barnes, What role do you believe the HOA should play in enforcing rules versus showing flexibility or discretion?
Sure, a balanced approach. There's a common sense that we can exercise. I think that there needs to be a review of our current rules and regulations, what can be adjusted and mitigated. I do also think that there's a responsibility to protect the assets of the HOA as well. There is middle ground where that is. I think after some review and conversation, we need to aggressively get there. Again, one of my main reasons for being here is that there are too many rules that make it inconvenient to be a member here. And I will find those, and we're going to collectively work to figure out how to make that better.
Thank you. Mrs. Osborne, what is one improvement or initiative you would like to see implemented during your term?
Okey doke. I actually have a couple, and I'll be brief on this. We started the board, started the trifecta program, where we put access control lights and cameras at our gates that are on the Lake Club property. We have 2 completed and we're working on another 3. We have a total of 14 gates on HOA property. So that I would like eventually to finish. We have been working on a signage project. If you go to any of our gates, there's like half a dozen signs. We have come together with one sign that spells everything out. Like to update the architectural guidelines. I'd like to open up our Sunnymead Ranch Nature Walk that the board, Pat Escobar, Carolyn Goller, Gregory Morin, and I put together. We want to open that up to the community and also do a new member welcome pack so that we get people started off on the right foot. Like, welcome to Sunnymead Ranch. You know, here's the rules, Jade, and here's the architectural guidelines.
Thank you. Mr. Reddick, what does success look like for you at the end of your term? What does success look like to you at the end of your term as an HOA board member?
I can't even hear, and I'm not even turning mine on. Isn't that a kick? So I envision the community being much better off than it was when I came on, meaning that the folks who are going to be stepping in when my time is up are equipped to make sure that the continuity of the best quality of life for those residents who live here continues. It's a lot of hard work, but I always have a sense that those folks who are willing to step up and actually try to get one of these positions on this board only have the best interest in their heart for the community. So when my time is up, I'm fine with that. I know that when I leave, those who are going to be behind me that will still be on the board are going to continue the work that I may have been part of, and all designed, again, to make sure that the best quality of life is delivered to the folks who live here.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Lambert, how would you evaluate and oversee vendors, contractors, management companies to ensure quality and physical responsibility?
Thank you, thank you. I think it's already been stated, but I'm not sure how it's done now. Like you said, especially being new to the board here, but I know in past, most bids are not just one. You usually have multiple bids, and it's not so much as taking the lowest bid because it's the lowest bid, but getting idea of their work, what's been successful, what hasn't been successful. And just because we've had somebody that's been here 10 years, don't mean we need to keep them, but always keep an open mind to be on the lookout for others that can do even better job. So I don't really have a full answer for you because, of course, being new, I'm not sure how things are done at this point, but I know it does help to have multiple bids and not just go with the lowest bid just because it's the lowest bid.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Barnes, what do you see as the top 2 challenges currently facing our community, and how do you plan on prioritizing addressing them?
I think the first problem is accessibility. The second problem Actually, I don't know a top second. There's probably a use of funds and the activities that can happen. So engagement, so accessibility and engagement will probably be my top two challenges. How do I approach that? One, take a moment to get a better understanding of current board practices and what's planned and what's been going on, and then do a assessment in terms of what could be done, what opportunities could present themselves. To me, I think there's immediate need to do some surveying and a voice of the community. Some people call it voice of customer, but I think in this situation, voice of community is most accurate. What do the people want? And then how do we leverage the tools that we have to give it to them? I don't think it has to be overly complicated, but I think people want to feel welcomed here and enjoy their time where they live.
Thank you, sir. Let's see. Okay. Mrs. Osborne, what role do you believe the HOA should play in enforcing rules versus showing flexibility or discretion?
I feel very strongly. So we have rules and regulations set forth for like the Lake Club area. The board has implicitly told our security staff to follow the rules and not to use their best judgment, because that leads, it's a slippery slope. And then it becomes, well, you let that person do it, but not this person, and why? So I feel very strongly for that to be just pretty much black and white, follow the rules. You have to have an access card to be on property. That's it. We directors also don't get on property without our access card. However, the discretion part comes in for enforcement. So monthly, we invite members in for their violations, and they have an opportunity to discuss with us what their challenges are, what their plans are. And that is where discretion comes into play, where we can say, we don't think that rises to the level of a violation, we're going to pass it off, or we're going to give them an extension. So that's where discretion comes in.
Thank you. Mr. Reddick, what do you see as the top 1 or 2 challenges currently facing the community, and how do you plan on prioritizing and addressing them?
Okay, say it one more time.
Sure. What do you see as the top 1 or 2 challenges currently facing our community, and how would you prioritize and address them?
I think apathy towards participation is one of the things that I'm most concerned about. We've got to figure a way of how to get the community more involved in the things that are going on. You know, a lot of times we will hear chatter on social media proclaiming that there's nothing going on here. There's nothing that the clubhouse offers or the association offers in the way of recreation or social events. And I think that one of our challenges is somehow communicating to them that in order for those things to happen, it requires a budget. And with the cost of living as it is today, it's extremely difficult trying to balance what we are committed to paying for out of our budget as opposed to what we would like to do and spend money on. That's always, last year we had how many, 14, 15 budget meetings in order to arrive at a budget for this year that we're working in now.
Sir, that's your time.
Oops,
Apologize.
sorry.
It's okay.
Oops.
Mr. Barnes, what is one improvement or initiative you would like to see implemented during your term?
Live entertainment on the weekends here. You just asked for one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see. Mrs. Lambert, what is your ideas on getting greater participation in our open forum?
That's kind of hard to answer because this is a bedroom community. Most people work outside of this community. I mean, we can do things, it's already been said, maybe, do surveys and poll the community, our homeowners to get an idea of what works best for them. But I think the challenge is the fact that I think most of you all that are here are retired or work from home. That's why you're here. But the majority of people usually work outside of Moreno Valley and they can't make it to the meeting. So we have to keep that in mind. I think that's the challenge.
Thank you. Mrs. Osborne, why should we vote for you?
My, because, I want to continue. I think I've done a reasonably good job for the community. I have a vision. I'm willing to spend untold numbers of hours driving toward that vision, and accomplishing. So I'm not done, doing my work. So I would like your support and, so that I can tick off some of my other boxes of things that I would like to see. Architectural guidelines, huge thing. It takes time to get that done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We got a couple more questions and then we're going to wrap up. Mr. Reddick,
Yes, ma'am.
why do you believe the HOA, what role do you believe the HOA should play in enforcing rules versus showing flexibility or discretion?
Well, I think they both go in hand. You have to have enforcement. The community expects that. And it's also our fiduciary responsibility to make sure that we follow everything that's in the governing documents of the association. And one of them is enforcement. So along with enforcement, you do need to use, and the board is expected to exercise a certain amount of discretion. Every single violation is not going to be identical in either the background of why the violation occurred or where and when and how it's going to be corrected. So as my colleagues have already mentioned in the board meetings, when we meet with the homeowners, that's the time for the homeowners to have their opportunity to express why a violation is either going to be corrected or not going to be corrected. And then the board can use its discretion at that time to decide whether or not to impose a penalty, give them more time, or somehow mitigate that particular issue. But again, I don't think there's ever going to be a time, and actually we're not allowed to negate any enforcement efforts on the part of the HOA. That's our obligation. And and that's also what the homeowners expect us to do.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Barnes, what is your ideas on getting greater participation in open forum?
In open forum,
Mhm.
I think I answered this question already. You got another one?
Yeah, I don't have you checked off for that. Okay, let me swing it around. What is your primary motivation for running for this election?
Yeah, to make it easier to live here, and more pleasurable. I will also answer your other question. It's about, I think I said it over again, but it is making it interesting to me, like finding out that the only way I can find out about the agenda is either come into this space or go to the website. Like I think I went to the website once in 3 years when I moved in here to look at the amenities, but like that's not the place where I'm going for information. And if I want to be invited, we have to do a better job of communicating that. We send emails out for anything. We send papers and notices for fines out for stuff. Why not send an agenda if we want people to come? Transparency is key. Share the information. People will come if they're interested. But if they don't know about it and have to take an extra step out of their life to find it, odds are they're not coming.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Lambert, what does success look like to you at the end of your term?
I always give nice short answers. Every position I've been in, every role that I served in, success looks like to me is leaving it better than it was when I came. So that's what success looks like to me. So whatever projects that we take on, I'm hoping that it will be successful and better for the homeowners when we leave. And one of the things that I really would like to see is most times, again, a lot of folks get in these positions and they stay for a long time, but we don't ever train other people to be prepared to go into these positions. That would be something that I would like to see, that we have something in place where we can at least start maybe training those that may have an interest in being on the board, so that we can set them up to be able to come in with a more smoother transition.
Thank you. Mrs. Osborne, how would you evaluate and oversee vendors, contractors, or management companies to ensure quality and fiscal responsibility?
So this is something that we have done many times. So for homeowners, we have some major contracts, lake management, security, on-site management, and landscape. Those are the big contracts. And we go out to bid on those contracts every so many years, 3 to 5 years, typically. And to do that, we do a multi-page RFP, request for proposal. We document what our expectations are and make sure that each of these vendors who are bidding tell us what they're going to do for us so that we can do apples to apples comparison. We also look at their reputation in the industry. So there's that piece. And then we have the regular ongoing vendors, electrical, fence repair, concrete work, those types of things. We don't go out to bid all of the time. It's just not practical. So we try a vendor. If we're getting good service, we're getting good pricing, then they continue. If they start falling down on the job or their price goes up too high, then we look to supplement that.
Thank you so much. All right, last question. Mr. Reddick, why should we vote for you?
Say it again.
Why should we vote for you?
Oh,
Easy question.
so why should you vote for me? I think if you want someone on the board who is easily a team player as well as a leader, someone who has an open mind, someone who can delegate as well as be responsible for performing and completing tasks, someone who has the heart and soul of the community buried within my heart and soul, someone who is determined to make sure that no harm comes to Sunnymead Ranch PCA, someone who is constantly looking for better ways to communicate to the homeowners on the things that we'd like to do, someone who always has an open ear, has a phone number that's available to anybody who wants to call, someone who's had 17 cumulative years serving on the board in every capacity, from president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, committee chair, someone who has the experience, someone who can network with other professional organizations that support nonprofits like our associations, someone who has actually taught board members in the industry on how to be a board member.
Pause you there.
Enough is enough.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No. So here's the thing. We're going to jump into closing. So if you want to take your 2 minutes and piggyback off of that, then we can do that. So I'll let you start with your closing if you want to continue on. You got 2 minutes.
Well, there's not much more to add to that other than to say that I'm looking forward to working with my colleagues that are at the table here for the next couple of years, or as long as we can hang in there together before we self-destroy or decide that there's something else better we would like to do. But seriously, I think this is an opportunity for not just myself, but everyone on this board to sit and hear fresh ideas, new ways of doing things, hear how innovative we all can be when we're working together, share ideas about how we can improve the community, and do it within the financial constraints of what the income for this association actually generates. At the same time, I'd like to say that this is my community as much as it is every single person who lives here. I want my community to be good. I want my community to be outstanding. I want my community to be the jewel of the valley, as we always say. And I think that with my participation, with what I bring to the table, along with my fellow board members, I think that we can easily accomplish that. And that's why I'm looking for your vote, and I hope that I have your support. You already have my support. I'm here. So, but I did want to hit on something real quick before my time is up, and that is one of the things that is always going to be a challenge, and that is how we effectively communicate to the community. We've got to do a better job of being able to reach out to the community ahead of anything that's coming up, whether it's a social event, whether it's a news event, whether it's an activity here. We've just got to come up with better ways of doing that, and I'm going to be one of those on the board. It's going to be trying my best to make sure that we exercise every single way, means, and form of doing that. We've just got to do a better job of doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Osborne, I'll pass it to you for your closing statement.
Okay. Lots of interesting statements and ideas up here, and I'm really pleased to hear. I love Hazel's comments about succession planning, because that is the role of all of us as directors, is to bring up people, to fill our roles as we roll off and go to Tahiti or something. That's challenging. And I think it kind of ties with what Robert was chatting about doing education here. Most homeowners do not understand the guidelines, the parameters that the board must work within. All of our authority comes from governing documents. We're asked to involve ourselves in things that governing documents don't give us any right to do there. Therefore, we cannot. However, on the flip side of that, we have that fiduciary duty that if the governing documents tell us to enforce something, then it is our duty to do so. So it's a double-edged sword there. Communication, I think, is key. The board has tried many things. So we have open forum, we have email blasts, we have jot forms, suggestions. We have a website that has a ton of information. We did coffee with the board, where directors out of our own time came and would sit on Saturday and chat with homeowners for however long they wanted to, sometimes 2 hours. We ended up pretty much doing away with it, because we'd have just a few people who would regularly show up, but all of those homeowners who want their voices heard do not bother to show up to have their voices heard. So that's a challenge, and I don't know what the answer is. So I'm looking forward to hearing Mr. Nunnally, Hazel, and Jade, their input to see what we can do.
Thank you. I do want to remind everyone it's their time to have their closing statement, so if you can leave your remarks. Thank you. Mrs. Lambert, on you.
And again, I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be a servant to support our community. Usually everybody has a slogan when they're running for it in mind. I tell people my slogan is "No, I will not." And the question is, no, I will not have all the answers, but I'll be looking to my fellow board members and the past board members to help lead and guide me. No, I will not remember everybody's name. And no, I will not be able to pronounce everybody's name. But again, I'm looking forward to serving on the board and trying to do my best to make sure that we continue to make this a great place to live, and to do some improvements where improvements are needed, and make changes where changes are needed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Barnes, your time.
Thank you. Mine's pretty simple. As you can tell, I'm pretty direct. I'm pretty straightforward. I try to look at it from, an approach where we can find middle ground and find happiness and find success. It takes a lot of give and take. It takes a lot of listening. But I'd see at least 3-4 opportunities real quick to improve communication. There's tons of electronic forums where we can communicate, get feedback, measure, and understand who we're trying to serve. I don't necessarily like enjoying or speaking in ambiguity, and it's these people don't come or such and such this. It's just like, well, somebody's complaining and somebody's saying something to someone. So how do we create a forum where that can be done and heard, and we can adjust? Governing docs are important, but I also think that with a successful election, you're going to empower us to maybe adjust some of those to make it make a lot more sense. It's here to get things done. I promise that I will always tell you the truth, and there's not a whole lot of sugarcoating. If you understand directness and can appreciate that, we'll probably get along. If you want hugs and tickles and stuff like that, probably not the guy for you.
Thank you, sir. Before I hand it over to Gregory Morin, I would like to remind everyone that we will be having another Meet the Candidates on Saturday, February the 7th at 11 a.m. And I do hope that we have all 5 candidates present so that way they can answer questions that will not be the same questions. We'll try to switch it up and get some fresh questions possibly. So it'll be nice to have some of you guys come out on Saturday.
Before you
Yeah.
kick it over to Director Morin, I wanted to let everybody know that the election is on March 4th. The ballots for those people who have opted out of electronic secret balloting, those paper ballots will be mailed tomorrow to those homeowners. And the people who are opting for electronic secret balloting, an email will be going out tomorrow. And the polls will be open, and they will be open until March 4th at 6 p.m. But just go ahead and vote. Oh, yeah. So this, yes, thank you so much, Robert. This is our first election with electronics balloting, which is very exciting for us. Ultimately, we hope that it's going to encourage more people to vote so we can obtain a quorum earlier and not have to have a second meeting, which costs us more money. As an electronic balloting, there will be no in-person balloting here, so you can't bring your little paper ballot down. It has to be mailed to them. It has to be received by March 4th, 6 p.m. So that's a change. There are no write-ins. There's no self-nomination. The people who are qualified candidates are on the ballot. You can go ahead and vote. And for those people, if for anybody who doesn't want to vote for any of us, still mail back your ballot or log in because that is used for quorum purposes. And there's also other things on the ballot, the minutes for last year, as well as the IRS revenue ruling. So
And those that are planning on mailing theirs in, prepaid
prepaid envelopes.
envelopes will be in the mail for you to mail those back in.
Yep. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, Jade, what was your question about the postage?
I was startled. Did you say we're sending out prepaid postage for everybody who lives in the
We've
community?
hired, there's an inspector of election that pretty much runs this. We don't do
And that
anything.
fee's incorporated.
It's all
to that
incorporated.
person.
Correct.
So,
Okay, got it.
so there is a, we probably are going to be mailing out probably 400, 500, 600 ballot packets, the majority, because we have just a ton of people who have emails registered with the association. So they can opt out of electronic secret balloting and they could receive a paper ballot. So they receive paper ballots like they have for a gazillion years now. The postage paid is only charged, postage is only charged if they mail it. Yeah. So we pay for the envelope printing, but not the postage.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.